Hey guys, what's going on? Matt the Funny Man here. As I posted before on Facebook, I'm going to share some of you guys some crazy stories that has happened in my life. Every week, maybe in between weeks, like I'll probably have Matt behind the cam, behind the scenes bloopers or whatever. I don't really have a set on schedule on, I'm going to post these since I got, bloopers and shit and never before seen videos to show you guys. But, I want you guys to get to know me more because I've already been on YouTube for 2 years. I want to be more open with you guys. So, I strongly recommend you tell everyone to subscribe to this channel. That are already subscribed to my first channel. You get to know me. I know you guys. You don't know me, though. So, one of the first stories I want to tell you guys is the first time I got jumped. Or second time. I call it the first time. Second time I really didn't get jumped. Because I kind of started the fight between two people. So I didn't get jumped. Technically I jumped them. So this is the first time I got jumped. I used to live around a very ghetto neighborhood back in the day. Growing up as a teenager. Called Andrews Manor. And I'm gonna go ahead and assume because I don't know who jumped me, or maybe it was, I believe it was from a guy who didn't like me very much because a lot of people wanted to hang out with me, and the only reason why people would hang out with him is because he always had weed. So of course everyone who smokes weed would hang out with him to get free weed. So I think it was maybe out of jealousy of me, or maybe the fact that the 3 guys that jumped me didn't like me. I don't know. Maybe it was a gang initiation. I don't know. But I was walking home from a friend's house one day. And how the apartment was set up is it was 2 different apartments. 2 different apartment complexes. There was Andrews Manor right here. And I forgot what the other one was called. But it was a separate apartment complex right here. But there was a big long black iron gate separating them both. And I lived all the way in the back. So, if I wanted to get home, I would have to like exit the complex, go around, and then go all the way to the back of the complex. That's at least like a 20-minute walk. But what people have done, because some people, a lot of people that live in both of the complexes knew each other. So people have been making holes in the gates. And there was a hole that was like right next to where I lived. Very close to my building. So instead of walking around, the gate was, the opening was made in the back of the complex. So I'm like, oh cool, I can go through here. So of course throughout the years I've been going through that hole to get to my building. Now one day, as I said before, I was walking home. I noticed a guy was walking behind me. Because, I kind of do this thing where I kind of like look over my shoulder, or I act like I'm checking for stuff in my pockets, but I'm, kind of like looking at the corner of my eye. And I saw someone walking behind me, and I'm like, that's peculiar, Because I didn't think nothing of it, because I wasn't the only one who went through the gate to get to the other complex. So I didn't think nothing of it. And of course when I turned back around, he's not there, and I'm like, oh, maybe he just happened to be behind me. Now during this time they were cleaning up, this side of the building. So they had like a bunch of big dumpsters, like long dumpsters. And as I'm walking too, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm about to go home, go to sleep, blah blah. And next thing I knew, I'm gonna show y'all. As I was walking towards the hole in the gate, next thing you know, boom! Out of the corner of the dumpster, I got blindsided by this dude. And they just start going, just beating up me on the back of my head. I get down on one knee, then another guy jumps in. The guy who was following behind me, I see him. He was a tall fucking dude. Just going, they're just beating on me. But of course during that time I know that I needed to protect myself, because since it was a gang related neighborhood. So of course to keep myself safe I would keep a box cutter on me. So I'm sitting there trying to fight back. I punched one guy in the face. And, you know, he backed up and he tried to charge at me. And I see a third guy, like, all the way up top. I see him running towards me and I'm like, oh fuck dude, I'm gonna get fucked up if there's 3 guys. So as he's running closer and closer, I grab my box cutter and I go fucking ape shit walk. I'm like, back the fuck up! Back the fuck up! I just lose my fucking mind. They're like, oh, the fuck? And you know, I'm sitting there, back up! Back the fuck up! I'll fucking kill you! I'll fucking kill you! I just go off on these guys. And they're backing up and I'm sitting there going like this. And I just have like an evil, I turned into the Hawk that day. And I back up, I go through the fence. I'm like, what the fuck you jumping me for? And they're like, oh man, fuck you, white boy, fuck you. And you know, they just walk away. And I'm like, oh my god. And the sad part is that I didn't get a black eye. I didn't get nothing broken. I didn't even get knocked to the ground. I just got like on one knee because, you know, I still got caught off guard with the punch in the face. But all I walked away with was like this big of a cut on my lip when the guy punched me. I'm like, damn, I actually did pretty good getting jumped for the first time. Usually I get my ass whooped badly, have black eyes and shit. But I got fucked up big time. But of course, as I know from the areas I grew up in, I didn't want to be a pussy. So I went back out the very next day to show those fuckers that I wasn't scared of them. And of course, one of the guys met up with me and all that, saying like, oh, you got some balls to come around here. Oh, white boy think he got heart now. I'm like, I been had heart. Unlike you, it takes 3 of y'all to jump one dude. I would have liked it better if I fought y'all one-on-one. He's like, oh man, whatever, fuck you. And he just walks away. I'm like, yeah. And of course I love it because the first time he saw me, he was like, oh, did you snitch? Did you snitch? And I'm like, yeah. Like, motherfucking, technically, yeah, I did. My mom called the police. And yeah. Of course, you know, nothing happened. I mean, I was thinking about, because I knew some of the gang members, because I used to babysit one of their kids when I was 16, so I was really cool with some of them. If I wanted to, I could have given the guy $50 or $100 to put a hit on all 3 of them. But of course, I don't like wishing death upon people. I believe in karma. So, as days progressed, weeks, I ended up learning, one of my friends told me, I'm not going to say no one's names, but the dude that I didn't really care for, the guy who likes, you know, hanging out with guys, or people hanging out with him because he has weed, one of my friends told me that he told them to jump me. And I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this man's life up. But of course, before I could, because the next day that that friend of mine told me this, I was gonna fuck him up because I knew where he lived, and I was gonna fuck him up. But of course, next thing I know, I find out he moves to Connecticut. So I missed out on my revenge. Have I moved past it? Yeah, I've moved past it. Have I forgiven him? A lot of times I don't think about it. I mean, will I forgive him eventually? Of course, I'll forgive him. You know, don't get mad at me because your ass can't make friends unless you have weed on you. But karma did strike again. Those 3 guys that jumped me, apparently they were all related and they all lived in the same apartment. They ended up getting busted by cops a few months later because they had crack in their house. And the manager kicked them out of the apartment. And last I heard, they're all homeless. So yeah, that's what the fuck you get when you mess with Matt. That's why I love karma. That's why I usually don't do nothing to people, because I'm gonna let fate show you something more cruel than what I could possibly do. Cause Karma's a fucking bitch, especially when Karma was on her period. I gave Karma a high five when she pulled that shit out of her pocket. But yeah, that's the first time I've ever gotten jumped. You know, feel free to comment. If you guys want to ask me any questions about, you know, anything else about this video, feel free to leave one. I'll reply back. But I'll see you guys next Matt Behind the Cam. Later.